Jim writes in from Illinois. He goes, hey, I came across your show when the pandemic hit and been listening regularly ever since. It's very informative. The mix of expert advice or the expert feedback,
not advice,
and the sarcastic humor is a unique and inviting combo. Yeah.
Not too many financial shows have that, right?
Yeah, I really agree with that statement.
I'll tell you what, Jim, we have no issues with that statement.
Well, sarcastic humor. There's nothing better. Also, I feel the connection with Joe because I too butcher words when I have to read aloud, and I admire that Joe doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, you don't care. I think most of us butcher words.
Thanks, Jim. You and I, brother. Yeah, I'm not a very good reader.
Yeah.
You're getting better, though. You're doing a lot better.
Thank you. Thank you.
Especially with these long ones, these page-long ones, you're doing excellent.
I happen to love your reading. I think it's very entertaining.
Perfect.
I think it's sarcastic humor, unique.
Yes, expert feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to his question here. On to my question, which relates to something that I haven't heard thus far on the show. I'm 56, happily married. I've climbed the corporate ladder in a large global company where I did well, and then stepped into the CEO role of a small startup, which I have been doing for the past 3 years. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. I have lived with personal financial management principles of delayed gratification, little debt, and low fee investments. As a result, I've saved and invested for many years and have been able to accumulate a net worth of about $6 million, made up of $5 million in taxable accounts, 2.3 in 401k, 2.4 in index funds. That's in the taxable investments, 500,000 in liquid money market account, and 500,000 in home equity. All right. I will also have a small pension of about $1,800 a month. The Social Security conservatively estimated at $2,000 a month. My base salary is about $350,000 a year. I have stock options, but let's ignore those because it's a startup and who really knows? Lastly, I have about $670,000 in 529 plans for my 2 kids' college. It is overfunded, but it makes me feel good to know that they're covered. So on paper, things look good. And I should be happy guy, but I'm miserable.
Oh boy.
Dun, dun.
So far, I thought you'd be ecstatic. Okay.
Because I hate my job.
Got it.
I want out. And I'm paralyzed by the idea of not having an income and not being able to save money. Over 25 years, I've been wired to save and invest for the future. And now the future seems to be here, but I'm fumbling around listening to your show and others, and I'm so confused.
Okay. Well, we'll do our best.
This is becoming quite a dramatic reading.
It is. I got goosebumps.
You gave yourself goosebumps.
I do.
Yeah.
Never mind. What advice do you have for people like me who have done well, but the psychology of managing their finances without an income or with smaller income of semi-retirement is making them miserable? I've made a career of always trying to have answers for problems, but I now seem to have a problem of my own, and it's painful for me to admit that I don't know how to solve it. Is this a familiar issue with you guys, with your clients? If so, what spitballs of advice can you throw my way? First of all, really appreciate the question.
Yeah, another great question.
It is, this guy's the CEO. He's killed it. Very successful.
Used to saving.
Right.
Saves a lot.
He's young. He's
right.
55.
Right.
Right. And he's like, okay, I'm going to take on the CEO role.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make stuff happen.
Yeah, that's right. Get some stock options, and this will be a little different than the big corporate world.
Right. I'm the man. Cool. I don't have to answer to no one.
Yeah, I am the man. Turns out you always have to answer to somebody.
Yes. You might have some investors.
That's right.
And it's lonely at the top, isn't it there, Jim? It's lonely up here. I'm with you, brother. But okay, so he's like, he has enough money.
Yeah. So, I mean, the quick math is $5 million at age 56. I would use a 3% distribution rate. So that's about $150,000. If you're spending less than that, which you probably are based upon your profile, you're good to go. I'll tell you one thing that helps me being an accountant. I don't know if this works for other people, but I like to run this out on financial planning software And what does this look like given certain inflation and investment and spending assumptions? And kind of tweak those and see how it works in different scenarios. And I think, Jim, in almost any scenario, you're going to see that this works. So that would be one thing you could do.
Yeah, but life is too short. If you're miserable and you hate your job, quit. You have financial security. Most people are working their tails off. And I get this. I mean, you're not asking for sympathy and you're not asking, oh, woe is me. I got $6 million. And, I get it. That, people that are very successful, they're wired a certain way to save and think about the future and everything else. And then when they look back and in trying to step out, it's like there's a lot of fear there. It's like, well, what the hell am I going to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to drive myself nuts or I'm going to be a couch drunk. One of the two. Right.
Yeah. And I think that is really common for someone that's very successful and has devoted their whole career to being successful and growing up the ladder and all that sort of thing. So here's a couple more thoughts, Jim, is you can step into a consulting role. I'm sure you've got a lot of skills that would be valuable to a lot of companies, but maybe you work a lot less. Maybe you make enough now to cover your own expenses. So you don't see your accounts going down. They're actually going up with the market. And maybe you could have a much better and happier lifestyle just doing that. Maybe you could have consulting jobs where you could work from Italy, from Hawaii, from wherever, right? So you have a better quality of life. But I think, at least for me, I got to see it in black and white. I got to see the spreadsheets to make sure, regardless of the assumptions I put in, I'll be okay. And I think, Jim, you're going to find you're going to be fine.
Yeah, but I think Jim has a number in the back of his head, right? He's got a $5.7 million net worth. He might be in the back of his head. He's 55 years old. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to feel comfortable until that's 10.
I know, but remember, it used to be 1, and then it was 2, and then
but that's the issue. That's the problem.
I
Even though we both agree that he's fine financially on paper, on black and white, Jim can do all the things potentially that he wants to do, unless he makes it's not like he's making $3 million a year. He makes $350,000 a year with the $6 million net worth.
Right.
And that $6 million net worth will probably produce anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000. So his income could be pretty close to match.
Yeah.
Right. Because you take $350,000 after taxes, after savings, and so on. What is he truly spending? It might be $150,000. Well, his investments could probably produce that after tax. And so he's going to be in the same spot financially, but emotionally, in his mind, where's his purpose and where's everything else is, I think, the bigger issue.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And that is a very common issue. It happens with men and women, but I would say, at least from my experience, a lot of men face this that are used to being very successful in their roles, making a lot of money. So then it's a matter of trying to figure out, well, what's the next phase for me? And there you really have to do some soul searching. There's plenty of books out there to help you with that. So to me, it's less of a money problem and more of a, what am I going to do with my life? Because when you're used to working 80 hours a week and just to stop, it's actually not terribly healthy.
Yeah. Jim, I'm a lot younger than you. And I feel the same way every day.
Not too much, single digits.
I feel the same way every day. I don't have as much money as you. Someday I'm going to aspire.
Someday. So you aspire at age 56 to get there?
Yep, that's it.
Are you prepared for retirement? Schedule a free financial assessment with an experienced financial professional right online at purefinancial.com.